Welcome. Have a seat. Sergeant Atam, I'll request that you close that door. The main door. Yeah, I think that's now fair. So welcome to Kisumu County Assembly Appointment Committee. Before we proceed, it's important to know whether the person seated in front of us is Jerome Ochieng. So we'll request for your original ID. Thank you so much, Jerome OKOTH Ochieng. This is Appointment Committee, Kisumu County Assembly, responsible for the vetting of all the nominees of the governor for the position of the CC member for any department. Now, before we proceed, we are required that we allow you to take an oath, because whatever you say should remain as a record of the House and should be the truth and nothing but the truth. So I will request the clerk to take us through the oath taking process.
I, Jerome OKOTH Ochieng, do solemnly and sincerely swear that every word that I shall utter before this committee is the truth and nothing but the truth, and that every statement and declaration that I shall make shall be made conscientiously, believing the same to be the true and according to the oaths and statutory declaration act. So help me God.
Thank you so much. Now, the next step is introduction. Before the introduction, I want to maybe remind you that the microphone in front of you If we give you time to speak, you just press on button there. When you are through, you press it off. If there is an interjection, we'll request you also to press it off. A member puts a questions or a comment or the interjection. When you want to reply, you press it on. You have water there. I think you've also been given a pen and a paper, so that if there is a series of questions, you can take notes, and then you can take points and answer them at once. Now, my name is Elisha Jakuraro, Speaker, County Assembly of Kisumu, and at the same time, the chairperson of the appointment committee. And next to me is the clerk of the committee, and I would allow the members to introduce themselves personally very fast, starting from my immediate left.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Eunice Atieno Alando, specially elected, also a member of appointment committee.
Thank you, Chair, for the opportunity. Good morning, Mr. Chair. I'm Karen Odhiambo, member of County Assembly, representing Shaul Moyo Kaloleni Ward. Welcome.
And a member of the committee.
Through the chair, morning. My name is Zach Okoyo, member of County Assembly, representing Central Kisumu Ward, a member of appointment committee. Karibu.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. I'm Ratib Ahmed Boyton, member representing Nyalenda A Ward. I'm afraid to this committee. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Ken Oko, MCA Ahero Ward. I'm member of appointment committee and also the leader of majority. Thank you.
Good morning, Jerome. I am Honorable Sethu Chinkanga, member of County Assembly representing Market Milimani Ward, and at the same time, majority whip and a member of this committee. Thank you.
Now, we got other technical persons with us. We have the media. Next to you is Sergeant Atam, Rose Baraza. Rose Baraza will be assisting you. If you just need anything, just give a signal to Rose Baraza. She will be able to assist you. We have our media, and their hands are together on my right. There's a lady seated also behind you called Faith, Sergeant Atam. They'll be working with the Baraza to assist you. And weekly forwarder is our researcher, the one seated next to Honorable Seth Kanga. So we'll proceed. Now it's your turn to introduce yourself, and I want to tell you how you are going to introduce yourself. First, you will submit to us all your original testimonials as was requested. Once you submit them, then I will give you around 3 minutes, 3 to 4 minutes to introduce yourself. But the manner in which you are going to introduce yourself will include telling us why you think you satisfy the requirements of Section 35(3) of the County Government Act 2012 with regards to education levels, requisite of the position that you are been appointed, you've been nominated to serve in. 2, you will discuss your educational qualifications and work experience and how that would enable you to deliver in the position that you've been nominated by the governor to serve in if the assembly approves. So, in summary, you are introducing yourself, telling us about yourself, but biasing yourself in regards to your experience and your education in line with the appointment to be the CC member for lands, fiscal planning, and urban development. So give us your testimonials, and once you give the testimonials, you will proceed in 3 to 4 minutes. I think you should be able to do that. So your time starts now.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Thank you, honorable members, for having me today. I will start by my name. My name is Jerome OKOTH Ochieng. I am a Kenyan citizen, hailing from Nyakach. I am married. I have 4 children, and I am also a Christian by faith, prescribing to the Catholic faith. In terms of my educational background, I will start from where I started. I started in my primary education. I belonged to the old system, so I did what they were calling CPE in 1983. Then later went to Form 1 in 1984. Did my KCE in 1987, where I attained Division 1, and later proceeded to my A-levels in 1988 at Moi Forces Academy in Nairobi, of which I passed, getting 2 principals and 2 subsidiary. That took me to the University of Nairobi, where I pursued a degree of Bachelor of Science in Mathematics and Computer Science, graduating in the year 1994. Then thereafter, I applied for a job in the public service and joined the Public Service Commission in the year 1997 at a graduate entry level, what that time as a computer analyst, we were called computer analyst programmer 2. 2 years later, I was promoted to computer programmer analyst 1, job group K. I subsequently continued getting my promotions to senior level, principal analyst, deputy assistant director, deputy director, to the position of director. In the year 2015 is when I attained the position of director, and I was posted to a department within government called the Integrated Financial Management System, IFMIS, which I was director for about 4 years. Then in the year 2017, I was appointed as the principal secretary in the Ministry of ICT, Innovation and Youth Affairs, which I served up to the year 2022. So, Chair, honorable members, that gives me, that gives my background in terms of academic. I have also done a number of courses here and there, and I'm also a member of various professional organizations. After my graduation, I also pursued a postgraduate diploma in computer science under the then called the Institute of Management of Information System, which is a UK-based institution, which also helped me attain a postgraduate diploma. I also want to mention that in the year 2005, I also got a scholarship to proceed with a master's degree in information engineering. The government of Kenya, through the Ministry of Education of Japan, gave me a scholarship, and I pursued a master's degree in information engineering under the University of Ryukyus in Okinawa, Japan, which I did for 2 years, graduating with a master's degree in information engineering. Chair, honorable members, you mentioned, or you requested that as I do the introduction, I also needed to related with the responsibility of being a CECM for lands, public, physical planning, housing and urban development. Having been, as I describe myself as a career civil servant, and sometimes I joke, if you wanted to know the definition of a career civil servant, probably it is me. Why am I saying this? Is because my history in work or in working is basically in government. I have not had any other employer apart from government. Since I joined government right at graduate entry level and exited at the highest level in the technical sphere of government, I have a wide range of experience in terms of how government works, how systems works within government, and the operationalization and the implementation of strategies and policies within government. The position of CEC in government is basically a position that requires the person to provide strategic leadership and direction. So, having been in a position whereby I have been continuously providing strategic leadership, and my last station of call, or my last position as the principal secretary, gave me a wide range of experience, because I was able to work as an accounting officer and able to work through different and various projects. So I am well positioned to provide that strategic leadership and strategic direction within the Ministry of Lands, Public, Physical Planning, Housing and Urban Development. And I would want to say that my 27 years within public service has taught me, through knowledge and experience, to be in a position to provide such a service. And also my education background has also given me enough tools to be able to serve in that position. I submit, Honorable Chair and members.
Honorable members, I want to open this vetting process to the members to ask questions. Honorable Leader of Majority.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Jerome, I have a few questions to ask. I've listened to how you presented yourself. You have a wide range of experience, especially in ICT. I've done some background check that during the financial year 2019-2020, you as a PS, and of course the accounting officer in the Ministry of State Department for Information, the Auditor General's report for that ministry during that financial year highlighted issues of slow absorption of funds in regards to donor-funded projects. So, number one, what factors may lead to this slow absorption of funds in the donor-funded projects? Two, what remedies would you put in place to ensure that the same is not experienced under your watch as the CC lands, physical planning, housing and urban development, just in case this committee approves your nomination? Thank you.
Yes, Jerome.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair, and Honorable Member, for that particular question through the Chair. The issue of the absorption of funds, on slow absorption from funds, arose from the project that we were doing at Konza. What happened is that the procurement process of onboarding the contractors took longer than expected because during the procurement process, somebody went for review, and that dragged the process of awarding and having the contractor on site. And since we didn't have the contractor on site, which means work was not done, therefore we were not able to spend the resources that were accorded at that particular moment. So, how would I remedy or resolve that particular situation? One is to institute a program whereby procurements are done in good time. But because being a democratic country, you cannot stop somebody who wants to actually go to court probably and even go to the PPRA for the review of a procurement process. But we look at mechanism on how to fast track once the go-ahead has been given. I want to confirm the go-ahead was given because like they always say at the Public Procurement Review Authority, that you can never identify a flimsy excuse to a procurement process until the whole thing is heard. So we had to wait for the whole case to be heard for us to be able to proceed. So to solve that particular scenario is to strengthen our procurement also team, to also make sure that they are able to follow each and every step of the procurement cycle. But I know, like I said, that would still not stop somebody with a frivolous appeal to actually still go ahead and appeal. But in the event that appeal is concluded, what we would simply do is to make sure that we fast track, or we agree with the contractor to make sure that they deliver in good time. Because again, also, you cannot pay a contractor until a certificate is issued. So that is where the catch was.
You have another question?
Thank you, Chair. I'm satisfied with the response.
Honorable Eunice Alando.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Jerome, with your wide experience, formulation of regulation are pursuant to Statutory Instruments Act, which is a delegated function of the CC member. Kindly state to this committee the procedures of formulating a regulation.
Yes, Jerome.
Thank you very much again, Chair and honorable members. Formulation of regulation, and here when we talk about regulations for with respect to a particular act, the procedures, I would say, set up in terms of how to formulate the regulation is certainly to set up a technical team that actually reviews the act and also come up with regulations, because basically regulations are there to execute or to make it the act executable. So with the help of the technical team, we are able to review the act and actually come up with relevant regulations. Then thereafter, we actually submit the particular regulations to the Assembly for subsequent review and approval, and also passing them into law.
I believe what she was asking is that having been a PS, I'm sure you could have been one of the technical guys who was advising the Cabinet Secretary or ministers then on formation of regulations. There must be key components of regulations and some steps that must be followed, because given approval is going to be one of your tasks, that the Assembly could enact some laws or bills. If assented to by the governor, they become law, which even if the governor doesn't assent to them, in 14 days they become law if there is no memorandum sent back by the governor. It is the responsibility of the CC member of any department to make regulations in regards to the acts passed. So we must be sure, and for you, you have an advantage because you are a civil servant, career civil servant. So you must be able to know the steps so that we are sure that once you get to the office, the regulations are becoming.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Yeah, like I said, when we have a particular act and then we have the responsibility of formulating the attendant regulations, of course we work with the technical team to come up with the regulations. And of course, there's always nowadays a very important step that we normally refer to as the stakeholders engagement, whereby we get the input of the stakeholders with respect to that particular regulation. And of course, there will be that element of publication to bring it to the attention of the public in terms of what the regulations attains or what the regulations intend to do. We also get feedback from the public. Then thereafter, the public feedback is actually put into consideration with the various regulations that would be coming up with, and then we subsequently submit that to the Assembly for review and subsequent approval.
Honorable Seth Kanga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jerome Ching. First of all, I want to congratulate you for being nominated as a CC. And thereby we are now vetting you. Mr. Jerome, there's a recent High Court pronouncement against the county government of Kisumu that public participation was not exhausted while the evaluation roll was being rolled out, and the High Court pronounced itself in a case which was filed by one Mr. John Obure recently. Kindly, can you inform this committee the procedures which should be used so as not to encounter such instances where an individual can go to the High Court for judicial review, whereby he or she feels that the public participation is not exhausted? Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Looking at that element of public participation with respect to every or any other activity that we would be wishing to undertake, to me, I see the first step would be publication of whatever activities that we intend to undertake in either a newspaper or two newspapers of wide reading, that this is brought to attention of the public, of whatever, whether it's the regulation or whatever documentation that requires the engagement of the public. So notice is published of the intended action that we would want to undertake. After then publishing that particular notice, either through memorandums are invited from the public with respect to the notice that has been made public. And I would want to say that a fairly enough good time is given for people to respond. And then even if it means now bringing people to a particular venue, or the team, a team visiting that particular venue. Say, for example, we have something going on in Ahero, then we just have an entire team moving to Ahero, getting to listen to what the public. And I think here where we need to make sure that there is really evidence of participation, it's very important that a roll is taken of all the people who participated or who attended that particular meeting, and if need be, signing with names, ID, and signatures as evidence of people having attended that particular meeting. And also, with the invitation of the media also is very important as evidence of people having participated in that particular process. And the input also they have given, those who have submitted memorandums, then the documents are filed and recorded again as evidence. Because I think the most important thing in the element of proof of public participation is that really the exercise was conducted. So I see a situation whereby we bring this to the attention of the public, the engagements are done, and evidence is provided of having had the particular engagements. Reports are written and noted for those particular events, and then thereafter we have that record as evidence of public participation.
Thank you, Jerome. Jerome, you are the Principal Secretary for the State Department of ICT, and you presided over digital connectivity, and as a result, e-government was created. In Kisumu County, you are going to preside over, if you are nominated or if you succeed in your vetting, you are going to preside over the services in the Department of Lands. And currently, we have a evaluation role which has not been digitalized, so as to enhance revenue collection as projected in the budget estimates. Can you highlight to us how you are going to digitalize the Department of Lands, physical planning and urban development, so that revenue collection in Kisumu County is maximized as highlighted in the budget estimates? Thank you.
Again, thank you, Chair and Honorable Member, for that particular question. I want to say that if given this particular opportunity, then our great county of Kisumu will be very lucky, because I heavily participated in the digitalization of the lands record under what we currently call Adhisasa as a system that is currently being used for the digitization of the lands record. The procedure and the process of digitalization would be, I know, one, cumbersome, but these are some of the heavy steps that we have to do. That we will still have to look at the current records that we have, and we actually come up with a system that will help us in digitalizing this. When I say a system, we will actually be looking at a software, and another very important thing that actually we will also need to do is to actually do what we normally call the situation analysis. How, because I've not been at the lands, I will want to first of all understand what is the current existing system. Review all the currently existing system and actually come up with a proposal in terms of what are some of the best softwares or systems that we can actually put in place to help us in the process of digitalization. Then we will go through the entire process of digitalization, whereby we actually capture the digital records of all the existing lands registry with respect to all the particular records, and then now have a system that now makes them available through the system, whereby as a public person, you can actually query the system to know the status of the processing of your land's records, whether it is title deed, whether it is acquisition of land, to know all that. That particular information will be available through this particular system. So I see a full end-to-end, whereby we first of all start with the situation analysis, review what would be the best system, propose the system, deploy the system, and actually launch the system for public use. Again, also, I want to emphasize here that we will also, so that we also don't get into the same problem, public participation would also be very important, because again here, you're implementing a system whereby the users are the public. So we will also need to walk along with them, step by step, informing them of the various steps that we are undertaking. I say again that I had also the opportunity of digitalizing our court system. We identified actually 3 courts: the Nairobi courts, the Kisumu courts, and the Mombasa courts as the pilot courts. And I want to confirm that I am the best person placed to actually walk us ourselves through that particular journey.
Microphone. Thank you so much. In regard to the question that Honorable Seth Kanga asked, in relation to the valuation role, I want to bring to your attention the Valuation for Rating Act, and with specific reference to section 9 from 1 to going forward. But let me mention 2, and 2 reads that as soon as maybe after draft valuation roll or draft submitted valuation roll has been transmitted to him by the valuer, the town clerk, him now means the town clerk, the town clerk shall lay the roll before a meeting of local authority, and the roll shall thereafter be available at the office of the local authority for public inspection, and any person may, during ordinary business hours, inspect it and copies or extracts from it. Now, my concern is, with regards to the town clerk and the authority, and the current dispensation, that is the Constitution 2010, who is the town clerk and who is the local authority?
Thank you very much, Chair, for that particular question. My interpretation of whom I would refer to in this particular case as the town clerk, if we transpose it with what was the original constitutional, I would actually say would be the town manager.
Town clerk and the local authority.
The local authority in that particular case is then the municipality for that particular region. Say, for example, like the way we are in our situation, and I'm actually referring to this with respect to our Kisumu County situation, then I'll be looking at the municipality or the city for that particular matter.
In that case, where is the assembly falling?
Oh, it is said. Okay. Sorry, Chair. I think bring that again so that I really understand how to relate that particular statement, please.
I think you will have time to look at it, the Valuation for Rating Act, and see where the placement of all the existing structures are in regards to that particular act. Honorable Okoyo.
Thank you, Chair. Morning once more, Mr. Jerome. I'm happy as a career civil servant. You know very well the public participation is enshrined in our constitution, that is Article 196. What is your opinion on the principle of public participation and the necessity for public participation in the Department of Planning?
Yes, Jerome.
Thank you.
You can ask all your questions, Okoyo, so that you answer at once.
Thank you.
You can proceed and answer that one.
Yes. Thank you very much again, Chair and honorable members. With respect to public participation, I want to really also support the drafters of the Constitution and on their thinking in making sure that really the public are involved in each and every step of the various activities that the various levels of government are doing, be it the national government or be it the county governments. So my opinion in terms of the element of public participation, it is something that I fully support and I really appreciate, because again, like even we look at the role of the county assembly, you find that people representation is part of the role, and you can only represent people through engagement, and it's very important. It is only through engagement that you know how people feel or what is their opinion about issues to be handled about them. Because again, you cannot provide a solution to somebody who feels that they don't need that particular solution. So I really feel that it is very important to engage the public in each and every step, because they are the users. Even if we are implementing a system, we always believe that the users are key, because they are the ones who will use the system. And this is also, again, the public. So the engagement of the public in the various things that we do, in other words, public participation, I support it and I find it a very good approach in terms of governance and leadership.
Thank you.
I think, I don't know if you got his question. You actually appreciate the issue of public participation. And I believe it's still there. Stakeholders engagement. Stakeholders engagement and public participation are one thing. But I think if I had the member very well, he wanted to understand if you can underscore the principles behind public participation, the norms. Yeah. Because when I listen to your answer, it's like you are appreciating the importance of public participation. That now that you have appreciated it, what are the principles when you will be doing it?
I would want to say that in terms of public participation, one of the principles I see, or if I got the question correctly, the people engagement bit, to me, I underscore, I find it's something of importance. So I'm not sure whether I really get that question, because I look at that principle and I'm saying I support it. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Jerome. After appreciating this factor of public participation, what is the reasonable test and appropriate threshold of the public participation?
Yes, Jerome.
I would want to say that one of the things that you would really look at to appreciate public participation as a test is, say, for example, when you call in people to a baraza to engage on a particular item, and the number of people in attendance for that particular element under discussion, and also the feedback that we get from that particular engagement would really underscore the engagement in terms of the responses the people have given, and thereafter the report that will arise from that particular engagement.
Can you elaborate on the number of people? You are saying that one of the tests and threshold of an effective public participation is the number of people.
Yes.
At the feedback. So when you say the number of people, what do you mean?
Again, this will depend on the locality. Say, for example, if you have a population of about, say, for example, I'm doing something about Kisumu city, as an example, with a population of, say, for example, approximately 500,000 people. If I have an attendance of about between 200 people would be good enough in relation to actually the total number of people you are looking to engage. So when we talk about numbers, first under consideration is how many people will this particular activities we want to do affect. Then a 1% of that population would be a good representation in terms of the numbers that we are looking at.
Jerome, assuming you have Kisumu City, let's take a arbitrary figure, 500,000 people. And you are saying if you're doing public participation and you have like 200, it's a good indicator. So if you call for public participation now, Kisumu County has employees of around 6,000 employees of Kisumu County. Then they come to your hall, 6,000 employees of Kisumu County jams into your hall. It's enough. Now you can say that you've done an effective public participation when the matter is maybe, for example, the valuation roll. You are doing public participation on valuation roll. You call for public participation. When you look at the register, you find that the whole employees, the total employees of Kisumu County, say 6,000. The members of assembly, the technical staff at the county government executive side, all are in one hall. So you call it an effective public participation?
Thank you, Chair, for that question. I wouldn't call that public participation. Sorry, yeah, I think maybe there was some misunderstanding when we focused on the numbers. But within your number, you also need to have the spectra of the people who are participating in this public participation. So issues like groups, are there groups that are represented? Are there genders that are represented? Are there persons with a disability in that particular forum? Do we have special groups participating in that particular forum? So beyond the physical number, I think there are certain other elements that will need to be considered. So for example, you would want to say that at least a particular group appeared here is a group of people that they're called what? I think we don't use disability, they're enabled differently. So we have gender also representation, and there are various categories of people marginalized and things like that. So I think the spectrum, apart from the numbers itself, the spectrum, the elderly, the people who are jobless and things like that would present a good picture of the people you are engaging.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Chair, you are aware there are land development procedures currently applied in Kisumu County. What is your understanding of the regularization on this?
Yes, Jerome.
Chair, I wish the honorable member would bring up that again.
I think if I heard her correctly, she's inquiring of your understanding of the regulation of land development procedures currently applied in Kisumu County.
Or if you allow me, Chair, I can reframe my question. Okay, my question is, what is your understanding of the regularization of land development procedures currently applied in Kisumu County?
Chair, I wish to confirm that, I wish to state that I'm not very familiar with the land development procedures within the county, but I would actually give an opinion if I had an opportunity to review that. So.
But I believe when you were starting, you said that you come from Nyakach, and Nyakach is a constituency within Kisumu County. So, as a career civil servant, and you are saying that you may not be understanding the current regulation of land development procedures in Kisumu County, then it means maybe the other people who are not like you, almost everybody is not understanding completely. So how are you going to make sure that people understand the regulation of land development procedures within Kisumu County?
Mm-hmm. Chair, like I said, if I had access to this particular document that enlists the procedure, I know I would be better placed, because I really want to speak to what I am more comfortable and confident about. But again, from a general, from a general perspective, I would really want to say that this, certainly, if the procedures are there has to be, there are things that have already been thought through and actually reviewed. So if we have this particular procedures, probably now, we again also bring it to the attention of the public, and there are so many ways of bringing this to the attention of public, through publication and also through use of the various conferences and meetings that we are going to have to engage the people who are concerned. And of course, it will be everybody, because everybody is concerned about and with the issues relating to land.
Yes, Honorable Lumumba Wade.
Thank you, Chair. First, allow me to apologize for...
Use the mic. Use the microphone.
For coming late. My name is Lumumba Wade. I'm the area MCA for South East Nyakach. Allow me also to congratulate you for your nomination. I have the microphone. Yeah. Okay. Allow me also to congratulate you for having been nominated for the position of CEC lands. Bwana Jerome, in this county, you've always invited scrutiny as to the manner and quality of the management of these projects. In some cases, some projects have stalled, while others, the projects are in use and the contractors have not been paid. What is your opinion as to why this is so? But two, briefly state to this committee the procedures that are to be followed in project management pursuant to the Kisumu County Project Management Act. And
finally, Dr. Jerome, I've just seen here that at one time or the other, you were the director of IFMIS. In your opinion, ever since IFMIS was introduced in this government, has it achieved its purpose? And if so, can you explain? Thank you.
Yes, Jerome.
Thank you. Thank you very much again, Honorable Chair, and also thank you very much, Honorable Member, for these particular questions. The first one you brought is the issues relating to projects and stalled projects, and the reason as to why projects would stall. I would just wish to enumerate a few, but certainly there are quite a number of reasons why projects would stall. One of them is poor planning, whereby a project is initiated without really proper planning, and in the process of the implementation, the project does not get to its completion. Secondly is, I don't want to say lack of resources, I would want to use the word limited resources. That at the initiation of a particular project, there was money that was apportioned to that particular project, but then again, subsequently, the project does not conclude because the resources were not provided. The other challenge that I would actually associate with incomplete projects or stalled projects is budgeting and the budgeting process. You realize, and I mean from my experience as an accounting officer, you have initiated a project, the project is 20–30% complete. Midway, the budget is slashed. We had 100,000 as an example. We end up with 30,000, and yet 30,000 cannot conclude or finish the project. And then maybe another another area whereby projects will get stalled will be issues like cost overruns. When we started the project, say for example, metal was costing 2,000. But by the time we reach midway, and we had planned with the 2,000, by the time we reach midway, our metals are costing 5,000. So issues like costing and elements of the cost of the projects, again, would also affect such a particular project. And then also there will be also the other issue of the people. People challenge comes in very many ways. Some people, midway between the project, may decide they don't even want the project, and then they create a lot of resistance. And like when we started, which will bring me back to the question about IFMIS, when we started the IFMIS project, there was really a lot of resistance due to various interests. So again, the people element in various ways, whether resistance, people not wanting the project, and things like that would also create challenges to the various projects. But as we state the problems, I think it's also important, Chair and honorable members, that we also think about then, how do we solve this problem? Then if you have a challenge of poor planning, then it means that by the time of initiating a project, there has to be really a thought-through process of that particular project. If people is a challenge, then, because people will bring in a challenge if they were not properly engaged. So the issue of stakeholders' engagement is also very important before you even initiate a project, so that they are actually all onboarded. Element of budgeting, as much as we depend on budgeting arising from, say, county government, again also we need to look at alternative sources of funding. that whenever we have a project, have we factored in the possibility of alternative source of funding? And beyond that, do we or can we do our own source revenue for that particular project? So essentially, these are some of the things that we also look at whenever we are actually doing a project. For us to have a proper project management, you identify a project, you actually plan for it, budget for it, implement the project, but again, monitor and evaluate at each and every stage of that particular project. Now, to come to the question about IFMIS and whether it has achieved its objective, I would want to say yes, indeed. Why? Is because the original idea beyond or within IFMIS was to make sure that within government expenditure, we have planning, budgeting, and execution of the budget being done within a particular system. The issue, Honorable Member, that you have raised about, say, for example, stalled projects and issues like that relating to budget would really be sorted out very well within the IFMIS framework, because when we introduced the procurement module, one of the things you would not do within that particular system is that you would not spend if you really don't have money for that particular item. And it would also guide you in terms of looking at, in terms of project monitoring and evaluation, how your various expenditures are going on. You can actually, and to also tie it to the question that was brought when we are talking about absorption, you can also generate various reports to actually look at how are you absorbing on a quarterly basis. Then you take remedial action as early as possible before, instead of waiting up to the end of the year for you to actually take the action. So I would want to say that it has achieved its objective, though not 100%, but I would certainly want to say at the level of 70–80%, the original objective has been achieved, but the 30% are a limitation to any other system, because there are elements of people issues, there are elements of infrastructure issues, there are challenges like that, that would not allow the full utilization of the system.
Jerome, maybe I want to ask you some direct questions, which I think you can take maybe 1 or 2 minutes. First one, I know you must have understood that the governor of this county, Professor Peter Janyo, had some social contract with the people of Kisumu County in some 10-point agenda, which still remains a covenant between him and the people until the end of his term. So just by mentioning, just give me at least 3 legacy projects in that 10-point agenda.
Okay. Some of the, if I've gone through some of these things, there was the element of provision of housing, of which housing is one of the areas that are under my jurisdiction. There was the issue of, is it straightening, or, okay, I may not use the exact words, but elements of markets, provision of marketplaces and places where people can conduct their businesses in a clean environment, of which is a process that also is currently ongoing, and also the issues of land use. I've just decided to focus on the areas that are very much related to the position to which I have been nominated.
I don't want you to cutting across, whether in your intended docket, if you're approved, or any.
Yes. Also the element of education, streamlining the education, and especially the ECD, the areas relating to ECD. So we talked about housing, ECD, education, and we also the element of health in terms of an area looking at how to streamline and probably even with the use of technology may provide better health facilities.
Honorable Seth Kanga.
Thank you, Jerome. Jerome, in the financial year 2019-2010, 2019-2020, you were the accounting officer in the State Department of ICT and Innovation. And the auditor's general's report by then indicated or highlighted issues regarding the lack of documentation and transparency in project management in that financial year. And that's an indication of your lack of commitment to public accountability and transparency in managing public resources. Now that you are being vetted in the said departments as a CEC nominee, how do you respond to that? Mr. Jerome, thank you.
Yes.
Answer to the Honorable Seth Kanga, taking into consideration that we listened to your response on the question by Honorable Koyo, not Honorable Koyo, Honorable Lumumba Wade, in terms of project management. And the Honorable Seth Kanga is saying that in 2019-2020, your ministry had issues regarding documentation and transparency in regard to project management. So is it not going to affect your working, or is it not showing that you lack commitment in terms of accountability and transparency in managing projects?
Thank you very much, Chair. I wish to clarify that particular element, and I want to state that really the matter was later resolved by us providing the documentation. But let me just give a background in terms of how this issue came about in terms of lack of documentation. What happened is that we had a donor-funded project, and that particular donor-funded project was being paid through the National Treasury. So our role was to ensure that we submit our documents to the National Treasury, and the National Treasury were the ones who were paying directly. So when the auditors came, they wanted the original document that facilitated the payment from our ministry. But we stated that actually we are not the paying agency. The paying agency also demands the original document, which is the National Treasury. Therefore, you cannot have two original documents. So the original documents had been submitted to the National Treasury. And we went to the Assembly. We were given a way forward that to resolve that matter, because the auditor insists on an original document, Treasury, who is the paying agency, insists on an original document, we agreed that moving forward is that this particular document that is being forwarded to the National Treasury, we retain a copy, and we have a copy certified by the legal person within the institution as the true copy of the original, so that we let the original go, and then subsequently now when the auditors come, we will actually tell them this is the original. So it was an issue, it was an operational issue because of that element of requesting for original documents.
Now, honorable members, we come to the conclusion of one.
Mr. Speaker.
Just a minute. Just a minute. I want to give opportunity to any Joy Rider question from the members and even the friends of the committee. One question each. Honorable Seth, I'm seeing you are.
Thank you, Speaker. This is a general question, and it is in the public domain. Mr. Jerome, you presided over a budget of a State Department which I believe was in billions of shillings. And the Kisumu County as a whole has a budget of 13 billion. And your department, which, if you are successful, will be attuned to around 500 million. It is in the general perspective of the public that you are coming from a high-profile job to a lesser job, and in which you are going to preside over a county department with a few billions of shillings. Even in terms of salary, you are principal secretary presiding over a state department with a higher salary, and here you are going for a lower salary. In public service, people do aim to move to higher positions rather than coming from the national government to the county government. And we have seen instances whereby government officers or public officers have declined jobs, be it ambassadorial or state corporation jobs. And in your view, general view, as a citizen or as a public servant, do you think that you will be effective in service delivery as far as service delivery is concerned in Kisumu County? Because you are going for a lesser job with a lesser salary coming from the national government, whereby you are an accounting officer. In this case, you are not going to be an accounting officer because you have a chief officer. You are going to be in charge of policy and strategic management of that department. How is your take on these areas I have talked about? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Seth, for that really very good question. And I think it is important that I take this opportunity to respond to that. I know, and like you rightfully say, it is not only you, it is in the public. People are wondering, why would somebody want to take a job lesser than what they were previously doing? Like I said at the beginning, that to me, I probably would be the definition of a career civil servant. Mine has always been service to the public. And even when I was the principal secretary, I tried as much as possible to make sure that we could get projects that would fit in to the great people of Kisumu County. Why? Because I was also interested in making sure that I serve my people. Honorable Seth, I would want to give you a scenario that
address the chair.
Through the chair.
Respond, yeah.
Yes, through the chair. Chair, I would want to give a scenario that would more or less play like what is playing today, to just respond to that particular scenario, and I think it's very important. I'll spend some moment on this. In the year 2005, when I came back from Japan with my master's in information engineering, that time IT was a very lucrative field. Very many organizations, and especially the mobile networking companies that were picking up at that particular moment, wanted me to move. Unfortunately, there was that clause that, and because that was an agreement, that I had to serve for 2 years when I come back, because that was a ministry to ministry agreement before leaving. But that was not the only thing that tied me, because I had opportunities to even get more salaries from the private sector. But I insisted that mine is more or less an interest to the service, and I felt that I was going to cheat my government and my people by jumping out, because they had even said we can pay the 2-year in lieu of your service and then you still come. So basically, to respond to that, I was simply saying, based on my career and based on my history, is that I have an opportunity also to give back to the community. I also want to make sure that I provide service to my people. Not everything is normally revolving around financial and money issues. There are people who sometimes just feel comfortable in providing service and in making sure that they use, I felt like the expertise I have, I'm still young enough. And actually, the reason why I left the service is not that I had reached my retirement age, but of course, it was a political realignment. So since I still have the potential, I still have the energy, I still have the knowledge, I said, let me take up this opportunity to serve the people of the county of Kisumu, and that's why I didn't go to any other county, because it is my county.
One question each for the friends of the members. Honorable Seth.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. First, allow me to congratulate you, Jerome, on your nomination as the CC for lands and physical planning. My question is, just the way the Honorable Seth has put it, that before you were an accounting officer, now you are applying for CCM member. What are the different roles of the two offices, and how do they relate for proper service delivery to the people of Kisumu? Thank you.
Well, thank you, Chair, Honorable Member. Through the Chair, the role of an accounting officer and the role of a CEC, basically the chief officer would be the accounting officer, and the CEC would be a person who's basically policy-based and actually looking at the implementation, the development of policies and things like that. But again, also, there is the interdependency that I actually look at the people below. When I always look at an organizational structure as a pyramid. There is that top there. My role would be basically, like I said at the beginning, to provide strategic direction, to provide strategic leadership in terms of the various projects, implementation and monitoring. But again, also, there is no way a CEC would work in isolation. Then he needs to work in consultation with all the other members, because now there is the technical team. We have the directors who are heading particular directorates, who now we need to engage and work closely at the point of policy formulation, and at the point of implementation, you provide strategic direction.
Well done.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, mine is direct. On 30th of April 2024, Kisumu County launched what we call Kisumu Local Physical and Land Use Development Plan. And during that launch, Honorable Chair, a question was raised, and there was no proper explanation to that question. I would like Mr. Jerome to shed light on it. And this was, how would the county government, the Department of Lands, involve the Mama Mboga living in a place like Nyalenda into the physical and land use development plan that the county would love to carry out, given that these individuals have title deeds, which we call absolute title deeds for their lands. And on the same, Honorable Chair, Jerome, will you demonstrate how your department will convert private land into community land? And lastly, Honorable Chair, Mr. Jorim, demonstrate how you would help the governor achieve one of his manifestos in bringing to the resident of Kisumu County affordable housing program. Thank you.
We give you 2 minutes to answer that. It's Jerome, not Jorim. It's Jerome Ochieng, Honorable Boyton. So, Jerome, 2 minutes.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you very much, Honorable Member. Due to the confusion of my name, Chair, I normally accept all of them, so I am okay. Others call me Joram, Jerim, Joram, Jirim. It comes in all forms. But to respond through the Chair, to respond to the question, there was the how to incorporate or include the mamambogas. Probably they are not the only ones. And so many other interested groups, if I may call them that, into the development of the land and physical development plan. Like I said at the beginning, this particular documentation would still have to go through various levels of stakeholders engagement. And we will still need to engage the public. Through that particular public engagement, then you will get the opportunity to get feedback. And again, even if we always say that some of these documents are normal documents, you could come up with something that you have even launched, just like even the budget. The reason why we do supplementary budget is that in the course of the implementation of budget, there arose a reason as to why something else needs to be changed. So basically, these documents are not cast on stone, even if they have been launched, that you would still have an opportunity that in the event that there is a missing group, a missing link in that particular document, then an opportunity to engage the public to make sure that their concerns are raised. But then this can only come in through public engagement. Once we publish, advertise the document, bring it to the attention, people will raise areas of interest and concern, and we will be able to incorporate and amend where possible and also where necessary based on the feedback that we will get from them. So we will listen to them and get their feedback. Then the question is on conversion of land or conversion of public land into community land. Again, this looks a very, very technical issue that, of course, I will rely, because there is both the legal aspect of it and there is also the implementation of it. Of course, I'll rely on the advice of the legal team and also the technical team that I'll be working with in my ministry to make sure that we implement the right thing, that if public land is being converted into community land, then it is being done within the principles of the law and in what is provided for by the law. How would you bring in affordable housing program into the Kisumu County? Again, we're all aware of the confusion that the housing program, because on one side housing is really a devolved function, but we see a situation whereby the national government is also driving this particular process. My response to this would be that certainly we will need also to have proper engagement with the national government as they drive the affordable housing program, that also we have a conversation with them in terms of how they could incorporate our county as part of the program, and also look at the requirements and what are our requirements. Because again, there is really a lot of hay gray areas in terms of how this program is being implemented, but this is not something that you'd give a quick yes or no answer. It's something that needs to be thought through, well documented, agreed upon, with even memorandums from both the national and the county government, so that we agree on a very clear way forward in terms of how we'll implement it.
Now, Jerome, how many countries do you have in Kisumu County?
7. Chair, we have 7.
And how many constituencies do you have?
Sorry, Chairman. Let me correct myself. We have 7 constituencies and 8 sub-counties.
How many wards?
Honorable Chair, we have 35 wards.
What's the relation between the CC for lands, urban planning, the city, and the municipalities? How do they relate in terms of governance? 1 minute.
Since municipalities and urban fall they all fall under the CC of lands, urban planning, and physical development. They all fall under under CC in terms of what is it called? The administration. In terms of administration.
Somebody has just told me to ask you, who is the village administrator of the 2 village administrators of your ward? You said you come from West Ward. What are the name of the 2 village administrators in your ward?
Chairman, sorry, Honorable Chair, with the due respect, I don't know.
Jerome, you don't know the village administrators in your ward, and you're a member of Kisumu County. Anyway, we come to the conclusion of this vetting process. Before I give you time to say something, I want to ask the clerk, is there any memorandum from the public as at the last date of submission?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. We have not received any memorandum.
Now we give you an opportunity to tell us something. It could be in the line of assuming the assembly do not approve you. They do not approve you. What happens? And if you have any question or comment, 2 minutes.
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. Let me start with the simple one. Assuming the assembly does not approve my nomination, I will respect their decision. I will respect their decision because for this particular sitting, the answer is, in IT we call it binary. It is either a yes or a no. So if they said no, they have all the reason as to why they said no. If they said yes, they have all the reason as to why they say yes, and I will respect that decision. Then, sorry, what was the second one, Chair?
A comment?
Oh, okay.
Or a question?
Thank you very much. I don't think I have a question, but mine is just to thank you, Chair, and honorable members for giving me an opportunity to actually have this great conversation. My appeal is, if you agree, like I said, I will still respect that decision. If you agree to give me this particular position, then, like I said at the beginning, mine is focusing on service. I am looking forward and willing to work with the people of the great county of Kisumu in ensuring that we deliver service, because as a civil servant and a career civil servant, our upbringing or our formulation has always been that one of provision of service to the people. and that's why we are called public servants. And I am ready and willing to take up that opportunity. But again, also to thank the honorable members for the great questions. You have also broadened my mind. I always say that every day is a learning day. There are quite a number of new things I have learned today through this particular session, and I continue to thank you all for this great engagement. And mine is also to just continue wishing the Great Assembly of Kisumu County to continue serving again as they have been doing. Thank you, Chair, and honorable
Thank you.
members.
I'm reminded of two questions that ought to have come earlier. What is your net worth?
Sorry. I had stated my network is about 145 million Kenya shillings.
100 days. What do you expect of you? You are low-hanging fruits in the next 100 days if you are approved.
Okay. Thank you, Chair. If I am approved and given the opportunity to serve the people of the great county of Kisumu, one of the things that are key in my mind is to make sure that we really have the 5 towns that were actually installed to begin working as towns. And this is what I've been thinking about, looking at the structures. That we have the 5 towns, we want to make sure that within the various towns that we have the requisite infrastructures for them to really be called towns or to appear as towns. I'm also looking at a very collaborative working framework with the town managers and the city managers so that each one of us is able to deliver. Clearly, if you talk to any other person visiting Kisumu for the first time, they appreciate the transformation of Kisumu town. We want to cascade that to also the other, Kisumu city, sorry. We also want to cascade that to the other upcoming town. So when we are looking at, for example, Katito Paponditi, when we are looking at Chemelil Muroni, when we are looking at Ahero Awasi, we want to now have them operate under the framework of a real town indeed, and that is what I would really want to give priority if given an opportunity to begin working in this particular office.
Thank you. I request the Sergeant at Arms to give this file back to the nominee, plus the ID. So you can check if your documents are intact. Once you've done that, then we really appreciate, and on behalf of the members, I want to wish you the best. We shall be retreating to write the report for purposes of conveying to the plenary. The committee will do their resolution, send to the plenary, and the plenary will make their decision. And thereafter, you shall get our communication. Otherwise, have a blessed day. The Sergeant will assist you out.
So, Chair, sorry, I forgot, maybe because you've mentioned it towards the end, what timelines are we looking at? Or that is a decision of the Chair?
Yes, don't need to be worried. You have done your part. Honorable members, as we had agreed, please ensure that you fill your score sheet completely and put it in the file for collection by the Sergeant at Arms. I said that please check your wall. I may communicate that we converge in the evening so that we adopt the report. I've authorized the Technical Committee to retreat now and to do the report. So we may converge immediately after the plenary to adopt the report in another meeting. Otherwise, the meeting is adjourned until the next communication. But please keep watching your wall.